What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest issue, guys, we are 8 subs away from 200. We are drawing so close to the goal of 200 subs. I know we can do it, guys. 200 subs before the summer comes to a close. I think we're like I would say we're less than about a month and a half away from the summer coming to a close, so there's still some time left, guys. Hold on. Sorry, guys, my neck is stiff. That's what she said. Haha. Bad joke, I know. But again, we are so close to the goal of 200 subs. I know we can do it, guys. 200 subs before the summer comes to a close. That way, when we do reach 200 subs, I can finally open this Korean Strike of Neos booster box in its entirety on the channel, on the hopes to potentially pull this guy, Elemental Hero Air Neos, the so-called forbidden Yu-Gi-Oh card. Is it really forbidden? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Now, if this channel gets to 500 subs, excuse me, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel that I got from my partners over at Collector Store, so be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it. On the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes Black Dragon, a Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, a piece of Exodia, the possibilities are out there. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Tuned Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull my second ever Collector's Rare. Because it wouldn't be the first time that I would have pulled a Collector's Rare, because I also pulled this, freshly pulled from my Genesis Impact box opening from a few months ago. Is a Collector's Rare Beat Cup from the Underworld. Funny story, I actually didn't realize that it was a Collector's Rare until I turned the card over like this, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a Collector's Rare. So I didn't even notice it until then. But still, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. I am planning on getting this graded at some point. Actually, funny thing, I actually have a fuck ton of cards here that I actually want to get graded. It's this stack right here. It's this stack right here, and I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys some of the cards that I actually want to get graded. Here's actually 3 of them. 3 good examples really quickly. So here's the first one, this is my Ghost Rare Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Funny story, it was actually my brother who pulled this out of his Clash of Rebellion Special Edition mini box. So I actually want to get this one graded at some point. Then of course we have my Ulti Clear Wing, which again, shout outs to my brother, he pulled this. And then this, probably one of the most expensive cards I have in my collection. A Secret Rare Magma Neos from Tactical Evolution Unlimited, which I got this in a trade, which I guess the guy that gave this to me kind of lost money, I guess. I don't know what the hell, but yeah, those are just some of the cards that I want to get graded. So on that note, if you guys want to see these boxes get opened, and you guys want to see some grade reveals in the future, maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's biggest issue, maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's biggest issue, deck profiles, card discussions, WWE topic videos, or maybe, just maybe, you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys have not done so already, and I know that a lot of you guys haven't, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this: do you guys believe that Fire Kings have the potential to become a meta deck? Because that is what we're going to talk about for this week's episode. Not only am I going to be talking about the new cards that will be in the brand new structure deck Onslaught of the Fire King set, I'm also going to be talking about how exactly this deck has how this deck can be a tier 0 deck upon the set's release. So let's talk about Fire King. So the Fire King archetype is a fire pyro, is a fire-based archetype that actually, funny enough, cards like I think Fire Recovery, and then also cards like Barrier Statue of the Inferno can actually benefit a lot from this deck, because again, Barrier Statue of the Inferno, you're basically preventing your opponent from summoning special summoning any monsters other than fire, which again, it's essentially a floodgate. So as long as you keep the fire statue on board, your opponent won't be able to do shit. And funny enough, I'm actually going to be, again, as I just said, I'm actually going to be talking about the new cards that are going to be, or actually rather some of the new cards that will be in this structure deck. So let's kick it off with Flame King God Garudonix, Fire. Oh wait a minute. Oh, that's the OCG name. The TCG name is Fire King Deity Garunix Eternity, which is a rank 8 Fire Pyro Xyz with 3,000 attack, 2,000 defense, and requires 2 or more level 8 monsters. And all 3 of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads: if this card is Xyz summoned, you can destroy all monsters on the field. It's essentially Dark Hole. It's basically Dark Hole. That's actually pretty nuts. But if this is the only card that you have on board, it can also essentially be a Raigeki. So in this sense, you really don't need Dark Hole or Raigeki. You don't even need Lightning Storm. All you need is a Harpy's Feather Duster, and you're pretty much good to go. The second effect reads: you can detach one material from this card, then target one spell or trap on the field, destroy it, and if you do this card gains 500 attack. So what's interesting is that you can have 5 level 8 monsters attached to this one card, and it can essentially just be 5 copies of MST, which is pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. Although it is kind of a bit of a gimmicky effect, it's still pretty good. And then the third effect reads: if this card with material is destroyed, you can special summon Fire King monsters from your grave up to the number of materials this card has. So if you had, let's say you had already used up 1 material out of 5. That basically gives you a total of 5. That basically gives you a total of 4 monsters that you're able to summon, and then you can activate Pot of Avarice, put this card back into your extra deck, and resummon it all over again. So it's essentially a way to just continuously bring this one card back over and over and over again, just as long as you're able to have the materials and the right cards to resummon it, which is actually pretty nuts. Next up we have we have Sacred Fire King Garunix, which is an 8-star fire winged beast with 2700 attack, 1700 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect reads, if your monster whose original attribute is fire is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your grave if it was there when the monster was destroyed, or the hand, even if not. So again, this is basically a cyber rev system where you could just where you can automatically summon this card from your graveyard or summon this card from your hand, and you essentially just have a 2700 beat stick on board, which is pretty cool. But what's even more cool is that I believe there's actually a few other level 8s in the deck. Give me a second, because I believe hang on, guys. I'm actually trying to log into Nexus here. Give me 1 second. Okay, we'll go to deck. I will pick my Battling Boxer deck just out of randomness. Fire King. Okay, so the level 8s that you have in this deck, in the archetype are actually the only one is High Avatar Garunix, which it's okay. Which it's okay. But I don't think there are any others. Let's see, Avatar Arvada. I don't think any of the 4 stars can turn your monsters into level 8. Yeah, none of them can. None of them can. High Avatar Garunix and Avatar Garunix. Yeah, so I find it interesting that High Avatar Garunix is the only other like monster, like the only other level 8. So it essentially becomes like a mini double twin twister, I guess, if you will. I don't know. That's a bit of a weird one, but what I find so interesting is that again, the Fire Kings, they actually, funny enough, back in the day, they were extremely meta. And ironically enough, I think the what was the other one? I think it was the fire statue. Yeah. I think the fire statue back in the day would actually make Fire Kings extremely good back in the day. I think the end board would have been like what that Vixen, Infernal Flame Vixen, what Dracossack, Tachyon Dragon, I think would have been your end board. I don't remember. It's been quite some time. It's been quite some time, but still, that's actually pretty nuts. Next up, we've got Sacred Fire King Garunix, which is an 8-star fire winged beast, 2700 attack, 1700 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. The first effect. Oh, okay, yeah, I thought so. Okay, so I already read the first effect of that one. Second effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can destroy one fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast monster in your hand, deck, or face of field except this card. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to half the attack the monster destroy had until the end of the turn. So this essentially can just become like it could just essentially just become a 4K body on board, which is not bad, but still, it does need a little bit of work. Needs a little bit of work. Next up, we've got Fire King High Avatar Kirin, which is an 8-star fire beast with 2400 attack and 200 defense, and both of its effects Both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads, during the main phase, if this card is in your hand as a quick effect, you can destroy one other fire monster in your hand or face the field, and if you do, special summon this card. It's essentially a cyber dragon, so it's not like difficult to summon the new rank 8, the Garunix Eternity. It's not difficult, but you still need to have some additional setup in order to gain in order to get more monsters on in order to summon the rank 8 Xyz. Excuse me. The second effect reads, if this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, you can special summon one Fire King monster from your hand or grave except this card. Then you can destroy one card on the field. So again, this deck does require some setup. So would I recommend this deck to be a meta deck? There's still one last card to talk about. So I'm going to talk about that card, talk about the reprints, and then I'll give you guys my honest opinion. So the last new card for this batch is known as Sanctuary of the Fire Kings, which is a continuous spell, and it has 3 separate effects. The first effect reads, when this card resolves, you can place one Fire King island from your deck face up in your field zone. Excuse me. The second effect reads, once per turn, if a card in your field zone would be destroyed by a card effect, you can destroy one fire monster in your hand or face the field instead. It essentially becomes like a return of the Dragon Lords of sorts, so it's not too bad. The third effect reads, once per turn, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, Xyz summon a Fire Xyz using only Fire King monster you control as material. So this basically just gives you access to go into the new rank 8 Synchro, which is actually pretty crazy. That's actually pretty crazy. As far as the reprints that are going to be in the set, you've got Fire King Avatar Garunix, Fire King Avatar Baron, Fire King Avatar Yaksha, Fire King Avatar Kirin, Bonefire Colossus, Sacred Phoenix of Nephis, Onslaught of the Fire Kings, Circle of the Fire Kings, Dark Hole, Flamveil Counter, Spiritual Fire Art Kurenai, Torrential Tribute, Fire King High Avatar Garunix, Fire King Avatar Arvada, and Fire King Island. Those are all the reprints that will be in the set. As far as we know, there might be others, but does the Fire King archetype have the potential to be a meta deck? Yes. Funny enough, it actually does, because of one card, and that is actually Sanctuary of the Fire Kings. Not only is this a metaverse, but it's also a protection, and it also gives you the ability to go into your Fire Xyz monsters as long as you're able to have, as long as you have Fire Xyz monsters at your disposal, you're good. You are absolutely good. So with the new support that we just got, the end board would be this card, Garunix Eternity. Maybe what? Utopia the Lightning? Nightmare Unicorn, Axis Code Talker, Nightmare Phoenix would probably be your end board. If you're able to make a board, like that, or something similar to that board, you essentially just have you essentially have a very powerful board that your opponent won't be able to out. I'm gonna have to try this deck out and see if I can make something out of it. I don't know if I can. I could try, but I don't think I will. I am actually planning on doing the Chimera deck, the new Illusion deck. I don't know when though, because there are so many other videos that I've got lined up for the next month or so, including tomorrow night SummerSlam predictions. So get ready for that. There will be no video tomorrow until later on, until after SummerSlam. So get ready for that. Sunday, I think there's gonna be some more cards that I'll be talking about coming out of Age of Overlord. There's a lot to do, a lot of videos to bring up. Even also Monday, with my new episode of WWE's Biggest Issue, where I do the in-depth review of SummerSlam, just like I did this past Monday with the Great American Bash, and the Bash was insane. But if you guys thought the Bash was insane, tomorrow night will be just as. So get ready for that. But again, the Fire King deck definitely has the potential, but it needs more support. It needs more support. If this archetype were to get at the least 2 Link monsters and a synchro and perhaps maybe a fusion, this archetype would have the potential to be arguably one of the most broken decks in the meta. And with Worlds taking place this weekend, taking place this weekend in Japan, there's a lot of decks that have that potential. Melfi Runic, Sword Soul, even as well, still has the potential to be a meta deck. We can even also see Spirals come back. We can see Sky Striker come back. The possibilities are out there, but only time will tell. But again, this archetype does have that potential, but it just needs a little more support. Maybe in the upcoming set, Age of Overlord, we might see it, but I don't really see that happening. So it might take place in what, Phantom Nightmare we might see it in? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Phantom Nightmare, but I think we might not get any more support for this archetype until after the structure that gets released here in the TCG. So within about 5 or 6 months after this set gets released in the TCG, that's when we'll probably see the new support. But only time will tell. But that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.